Ah, yes. The cute, little, tiny jolt. It's cool. It's amazing. It's cheap. It's convenient for Christmas gifts. And that's why it's one of the most successful Nerf blasters that Nerf has ever made. Like I said, convenient, and it could be a very good backup pistol. And that's why they made another jolt, and another one, and another one, and another jolt, and another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. There's like 80 million jolts out there. So let's take a look at some I have. Now, like I said, the Jolt is an extremely popular Nerf blaster, which is the reason why there's so many variations of the Jolt. But let's take a look at the versions of the Jolt. Now, there's the orange version of the Jolt, which I do not have. There's also the Zombie Strike Nerf blaster, which I think is also called the Clampdown. Some people call it the Zombie Strike Jolt. Some people call it the Clampdown. I don't know. I think it's called a Clampdown. I don't know. But the versions I have are the Sonic Ice Jolt and the Sonic Fire Jolt. During like the early 2010s to mid 2010s, they released Toys R Us exclusives called Fire and Ice Nerf blasters. Now I have 2 Sonic Ice Nerf blasters and 2 Sonic Fire Nerf Jolts. And yeah, these are pretty hard to come by. So if you see them, probably you should get them. And then of course there's the Triad. Now this Nerf blaster is no stranger to my channel. It appeared in some of my first ever videos. Not to mention it took me a while to figure out that there's actually a little iron sight in it, which is pretty cool. The Triad, it's basically 3 jolts in one, which is convenient. You know, a 3-shot jolt. Unfortunately, it doesn't shoot far, but well, that is expected for a blaster this small. But it's still a good Nerf blaster. And of course we have an upgraded version, upgraded version of the Triad, which is a trio. I will say, it is a little bit better than the Triad, because it has a tactical rail, and the barrels are straight, so it is a little bit easier to aim, even without the iron sights. But still, it isn't too much of an upgrade from the Triad, but it's still better. Speaking of quote unquote upgrades, I almost forgot to show you guys this one. This one is the Ace. Now basically it's just a jolt with cheap plastic, and it does actually have hold on a second, let me get something. A dart storage part that can also be used as an iron sight. This one's just okay. However, the big problem with this blaster is that it doesn't really fire that far. Now, let's talk about something that's a cash grab. I've talked about these kinds of Nerf blasters before. These are micro shots. They're basically small versions of Nerf blasters. Take, for example, the Rough Cut. It's meant to be like a smaller version of the Rough Cut, if I can find it. Where is it? Oh, here we are. Here we are. It's meant to be like a smaller version of the Rough Cut, but instead of making it like a shotgun style, it makes it like a jolt style. And the thing is, every one of these work the same, and they fire the same distance, which is why it's a cash grab. It's overpriced. It's garbage. And let's take a look at some of the Mega Nerf blasters that are jolts. Like the Big Shock. The Big Shock. Hold on. The Big Shock, you can hold 2 Nerf darts. One right here. One right here. One over there. Why do the darts keep popping out? I don't know. I've always had this problem with my Big Shock. And of course you can use the dart storage part as a little iron sight. Now here's an upgraded version of the Big Shock, and that's of course the Talon. Instead of just 2 shots that you can hold, you can also hold a 3rd shot right here. Convenient. If I got a nickel for every time I say convenient, I'd be a millionaire. And of course, there's my personal favorite of the 3, the Tri-Break. No pun intended. You see, the main gimmick of this Nerf blaster is that if you press the orange button right here, the barrel comes down, hence the name Tri-Break. Unfortunately, it is a little bit uncomfortable when you try to put the barrel down by using this button. But oh well. Okay, what's next? Yes, the rifle version of the Jolt. In 2019, rifle was at its peak, with many Nerf blasters that we had. And the big brains at Nerf thought, hey, why not just make like a Nerf Jolt version of a rifle blaster? So we take the Jolt, we take a rifle blaster, bam, we got the Knockout. Now, of course, there's other Nerf blasters that are rival Jolts, like the Pilot, but the Pilot, that's gonna appear in like a different video. But we're gonna talk about this one for now. However, the big problem with this Nerf blaster is that it is complicated. Take your rifle around. Rifle around right here. Pull that down. Put your rifle around in. Close it. Up. Down. And then fire. Yeah, it's a little complicated, but at least it does actually have some storage, so you don't always have to reach in your pocket and then get one in. Now let's talk about one that isn't really a Jolt, but it is worth mentioning. This, of course, is the Stormlander. I think that's what it's called. Could be wrong. So we have the Stormlander here. It kind of works like a Jolt. You know, you have to pull down right here, and then it comes right back up. It's still worth a mention, even though it's got 3 shots. And it does have some storage that isn't very convenient. What, I pulled out the Triad for a second. The Triad. But whatever. I mean, it's not really that good because it's almost impossible to aim. And it's also not very good as a melee weapon. Actually, it might be good, but it's a little bit... But make sure you don't hit it too hard, otherwise you're gonna hurt somebody. Now, quick question. Was there any kinds of Jolts before the Jolt? Yes, let's take a look at some. First and foremost, we have the Night Finder. Now, I do actually have 2 versions of the Night Finder, and they are 2 pretty rare versions. We have the blue Night Finder, and what's rare about this is that it has the old Nerf logo on it. And we have an even rarer Night Finder, which is the orange Night Finder. I don't know how many of these were made, but I don't know a single person besides me that has one of these. However, it doesn't shoot that far. And I don't think the laser dot sight works, whatever. And then, of course, we have the Reflex, which is almost as small as the Nerf Jolt. Unfortunately, like the Night Finders, it doesn't fire super far. So yeah, and because why do I keep starting? The reason why it doesn't fire that far is because the plunger comes out, which makes it very, very weak. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is kind of like, and the last one I'm going to talk about like Jolts before there were Jolts. It's actually an accessory blaster hybrid. Here is the switch shot. Now, the main gimmick about the switch shot, it's actually for a game. If I could find it. Where is it? Where is it? Trying to find it here. It's like almost... Hold on. Where is the game? Where is it? Ah, here we are. I found it. Nerf and Strike the video game. Now, what this was meant for is that if you press this orange button down here, one part of the barrel comes down, you can take out the gun itself, throw that away, and then install a Wii remote into it. Just like this. Come on. And thankfully, it's got an iron sight so you can aim. Now the thing is, once you pull the trigger hits the B button so you can actually shoot. And this is one of my favorite Nerf blasters because of how creative it is. It is a cool hybrid. Now let's talk about, it's not a Nerf blaster, but it is also worth mentioning. If you follow the Nerf community, you might recognize this little guy. It's the X-Shot Micro. It's not really as good as the Jolt because when you try to use like a normal Nerf dart, I know this isn't a normal Nerf dart, but it's still a good example. When you use a normal Nerf dart, this sticks out a little bit. The Nerf dart sticks out a little bit, which doesn't make it have as good as range as you as you would have as actual like X-Shot darts. And when I try to push it in, the dart gets a little crooked. But hey, at least it also has some dart storage, which doesn't really work and can also be used as an iron sight. I feel that the Micro is overrated, but it doesn't mean it's bad. Oh boy, that was a lot of talking. Well, if you want me to do another one of these, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment if you want to. Anyways, see you guys later. Bye-bye.